evening, dear listeners. It has been a great honor to be with the Golden Mark all the way from 2019 till now, 2021. It has been a long journey, but this year has been quite impactful from the beginning, and there's still more as in stock for us today and tomorrow. So today we are here again talking about the same theme from the previous day, that is useful. Useful, as we saw in the previous days, useful in languages, useful in works, and today we want to touch on useful in relationships. Useful in relationships. So all we want to do is, in everything we do, we want to be useful. In every aspect of our lives, we want to be useful. That brings us to relationships. So what is relationship all about? What comes to mind when we are talking about relationship? So relationship is about interconnection. It's about interrelation. We can talk about bonding as relationship. So it usually happens between people. It happens between two people, one person and the other, or it happens even between more than two people. And relationship can come in so many ways. So what are some of the ways that we can talk about? There are so many types of relationships we can talk about, such as relationship by family. So family relationship. We can talk about relationship by partnership. We can talk about business. We can talk about institutions, and we can talk about employer-employee relationships, leadership relationships, and we can talk about acquaintanceship. That's friendship. So you could have relationship with your friend. So when we are touching on family relationship, it can be by blood or it can be by marriage, and then we still want to further understand. But before we go ahead, I would like to introduce myself shortly. I know I've been introduced already, but I am Mrs. Dorothy Afi Amalo, but I'm always okay if you refer to me as Afi. So going forward, what do you want to understand? Why the importance of touching on relationship? It is very important because it forms the basis of everything of creation. God created the world on the basis of relationship. So human can relate with the environment, the surroundings of human, with the animals, the creatures, natures, and all of that. But our focus today is mainly on human relationship, as I have mentioned already. So what value or what importance is it to us? It is important because with relationship you'll be able to grow, you'll be able to strive. With relationship, as social being as we are created, it helps you live a standard life. It helps you to be able to grow in all aspects and give value to yourself. It helps you to be able to relate to every other thing you do in confidence and even at peace with yourself. So that is the core reason why we need to understand relationship. So we have to understand that relationship is only useful when you invest into the relationship. It can be only useful when you invest into it. As I have mentioned already, we can talk about business relationship, we can talk about friendship. So when you are talking about friendship, we can tell that some of us, we have made certain relationships while growing up, from the tender age to the school age, and this has actually defined who we are today, because there are certain opportunities that will place themselves for the kind of relationship or the kind of connectivity you have with other people. There are certain opportunities that will show up and you can never hear of it, not until someone remembers that, oh, I know one geologist who is a petroleum geoscientist. She can help in this project. Then you get the connectivity. So it's so important that we invest into any kind of relationships we find ourselves in. Most of the time we think that relationships can either be healthy or unhealthy. So when can we say relationship is unhealthy? Sometimes we see that when we get certain pains in relationship, we get certain hurts or the unexpected in relationship, we begin to talk about bad or unhealthy relationship. That is so true. But then there's one other thing you need to understand, that even with the unhealthy relationships, you will be able to learn something, or you will be able to achieve something that can either make you stronger or prepare you for the next phase of your life. So no relationship actually is useless. So in as much as you are in a relationship, you have to commit your quota. You have to invest. What do you invest? You can invest your time in relationship. You can invest resources in relationships. So if I have to invest resources into relationships to make it work, so that in the future I can benefit from it, how do I do such a thing? What you have to do basically is, so you need to understand that anything that you do, for it to become successful, you need to invest into it. So we are considering a building project. If you want to have a building project and you want it successful, you don't just have your picture, as in the architect presents you the drawing of the project, and then you sit down and keep dreaming about it. You put a lot of effort into it. You put money into it. You buy resources, cement blocks, cement, and so many other things will come into it, and a lot of human effort and skills will come into it to make it even better. So what am I trying to say? Even when we come back to relationship is built. You have to build relationship. So a lot of investments, such as time, your character, is very, very important in relationship. Of course, certain character traits can spoil relationship, but this is the more reason why we need to know ourselves, the kind of people who exist in a relationship. If I am in a relationship, I want to better know myself. I want to understand the kind of personality I am, and I want to understand who I'm dealing with in the relationship, so that I'll be able to put the right measures in place to make the relationship work. One other thing you need to understand in a relationship when it comes to employer and employee relationships is that there will always be a time that someone will be ahead of you. Maybe at one stage you are here, and then there are certain people below you. You need to have a very good relationship with them for them to be able to learn from you and as well advance. That is impacting the lower people, and then there will surely be people above you. What do? You pay your quota to them, the needed respect, the needed diligence, and the needed service as well. In that way, you grow in your relationships when it comes to employer and employee relationships. When it comes to business, how do we deal with business? I can have a business idea, I have a proposal, maybe I don't have the resources, but I know a friend and so many other friends. One has the tools and another has the skills, another has the financial resources. We come together, we build business. So these are the kind of relationships we talk about. But then if I have the idea and I have the proposal and I decide that I want to do it all by myself at all costs, I might be losing. There are other times that you don't have to just wait for the diligent time to raise all the money you need before you can embark on your own business. If you have the little resource now, you put in to the other person who has the idea now to support and push his idea, and then when the right time comes, you build that relationship. Relationships, of course, you might think that you are losing at a point, because if you are talking about a friend and his or her acquaintance, and then you realize that one person is working, let's assume we all went to the same school, we finished with our degree, and now we are graduates. Fortunately or unfortunately for one, she didn't get a job and the other person gets the job. But this other person who is at home has so much wisdom that she's very good at solving problems. So if I have even major issues at work or every other aspect of my life, I call on this person to support, to solve these problems. But on the other hand, when he needs financial support, I also have to come in to support in this case. It wouldn't mean that, oh, I am the one working and then every day I'm spending on this person. It doesn't work like that. There's always something that goes out from one person or the other in a relationship to make it work and work well. So in as much as that person is investing his wisdom and using his brain at all times to solve your problem, you can also support the other way. You might think he's not investing anything. He's investing his time, his presence, and his life. He's giving his life to you to make that relationship work. So we can as well talk about relationship with families, parents and children. So as parents have the responsibility to take care of their children as they are growing up and investing into them to nurture them to become who they have to be in the future. There are other times that this doesn't happen, but it doesn't make it being their parents being mean. There can be so many other reasons, and there can even as well be a God factor. You can tell that certain people didn't get the opportunities when they were growing up. They went through so many struggles, and then today they can talk about their lives and they are proud that they put in so much effort to make it work. And with these people, with the experience they have, they are able to support people going through the same things. They build relationships. So this is how they become useful in such relationships. So in the end, we can tell that relationship, it's a lot of work. It needs a lot of work to work or be healthy. Healthy relationships need investment. There are ups and downs in relationship. There will be so many challenges, especially for the fact that we have human factor in it, because everyone has his or her personality traits which are very different. And yes, of course, we have cultures that bound us even as a household and communities. So it is important that we know that things will differ and will have differences. But one thing that you have to know is what is the core of this relationship. In the end, you have to understand that there's no better person in a relationship. Nobody is better off than the other when we are talking about relationship. Why do I say so? This is for the fact that all of you need to put in something to make it work. You will not say you are lucky to have me in this relationship, or I'm better off than you, I don't know why I have to be with you, especially in this romantic relationships. Every relationship has a core purpose. Find a core purpose, find a core goal, and work upon it. In the end, all I would want to leave with you today is build your value, build your ethics, build yourself in a relationship, and learn to give at your best when you are in a relationship. Learn to be useful at your best in relationships. In that way, you build and grow yourself, because relationship at the end of the day is very important as human as we are. Because if you are talking about distressing or a healthy life or a social life, it's all about relationship. How to work. We work with colleagues, we work in teams, we work in groups. So it's all about relationship. So at every moment, put in your best, and you do it as unto God. Like the Bible teaches us, everything we do it as unto God. So that is the very important thing you have to know about. And one thing I would like to capture as well from the book of Ecclesiastes, it tells us that everyone who plants or everyone who labors together is better than one. So if two people are laboring together, it means you have more harvest than one person. So that is why it is important. I'd like to appreciate so much the Golden Pillar Foundation for this wonderful citation, and I would say a very big thank you to the public teacher Ranti Ajaku for this initiative to set up Golden Pillar Foundation, which has made a lot of impact in the world, especially in Ghana, and is keeping up and going further. And I pray that as we begin this Golden Mark 2021, anybody who has engaged in this Golden Mark 2021 would benefit something to build up his or her life. Thank you.